Mabuhay, 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 mabuhay sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon to all our participants, speakers, and guests, and good afternoon to all of our live viewers joining us online. Welcome to the closing program of the UPOU USC's Digital Media Lab in partnership with the UP Solidaridad. We are here today at the UP Diliman Student Union Building, and we would like to thank the Philippine Collegian for hosting our event here today. We are very thankful for all of your presence. Ako nga pala si Jet Hilao, ang inyong amazing, blooming co-host, and I am joined by my blooming co-host as well, Maddie.
Thank you very much, Jet, for that introduction. And once again, welcome everyone to the Digital Media Lab closing program. We are very thankful for everyone for attending here today and for our live viewers for joining us today, even though it's online lang. So to start this program, I would like to request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
Again, I am your host, Jet Hilao.
And I am Madeline Ortega, the co-host of Jet for today, and also the Digital Media Lab project head. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us here today. We are very proud to see all your faces here with us and celebrating with us.
For our welcoming remarks, let us all welcome the UPOU Office of the Student Affairs Director, Dr. Ria Borromeo. Let us give her a round of applause.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming sa mga nandito ngayon kahit na bumabagyo yata. I think may bagyo nga ba? Okay, so would also like to thank the UPOU staff from EMP and OSA who helped organize this, and of course the organizers, the UPOU USC and the UP Solidaridad. Okay, so thanks sa inyong lahat. I would like to also congratulate everyone who participated in this 5-week workshop and thank our speakers from Inquirer, Malaya, Rappler, UP Optics, Union of Journalists of the Philippines, Diliman, the UXPH, and Tinig ng Plaridel, and of course, everyone who is here. I'm sure the Digital Media Lab has been a great learning experience for everyone, but while this closing event is at the end of the program, it marks the beginning of something greater, our student publication. So I hope you all enjoy this program and enjoy each other's company. Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you, Jen.
And thank you so much po, Director Ria, for your message. Truly, this is the markings of the beginnings of the student publication here in UPOU. We are very excited to see that really come into fruition for so many years of struggling with genuine student representation, since student representation is not only for the student council but also for the student publication. So on behalf of the UPOU USC, we are very thankful for our participants for joining us, for participating in our program.
Ayan. Now to introduce the Digital Media Lab program, we will be hearing from the USC chairperson, Isaiah Crisanto. Let us give him a round of applause.
Maraming salamat, Jed and Maddie, for hosting us here today. So I am, again, Isaiah Crisanto, your USC chairperson, and I'm here to introduce a bit and explain what the UPOU USC's Digital Media Lab has been about. So, to give some context and primer, UPOU, being the fifth constituent university in the UP system, is the remaining CU among the 8 CUs that still does not yet have a student publication. It was only last year, after more than 27 years of struggle, that the students of UPOU were finally able to elect the very first student council. And we'd like to continue this trend of genuine student representation and more student democracy by building more and more institutions, such as the Committee on Elections and now the Student Publication. Next. So the UPOU Digital Media Lab was a 5-week workshop by the UPOU USC that aimed to train student journalists to become future members of the UPOU student publication. One of the reasons that we thought about doing this program was the research that the Provisional Committee had done in the drafting of the Constitution, that they recommended that before we set up any institutions, there needs to be capacity building, there needs to be network building, and we need people to be excited about building these institutions. These are not just student organizations, these are institutions. The reason I say that is we actually have 2 laws that guarantee student publications in our university. First is RA 9500, or the UP Charter of 2008, which guarantees the creation of a student council and a student publication, as well as 1991 Campus Journalism Act that ensures that every school has a campus journalism outfit. So next slide, please. So before anything, we would like to first recognize the fellows. We have some joining us here today in person and many more joining us online. Over 100 UPOU students signed up and responded to the challenge and joined our UPOU Digital Media Lab. Next. So we would like to also be notifying them that as of today, we'll be awarding your certificates of participation that you will get through the Tagpuan course site and your email, as long as you have logged in and submitted at least 1 assignment. This program has been very long. Initially, we wanted to do 8 weeks, but even after 5 weeks, it has been very, very tiring and challenging for our fellows, but they have persevered, and so we're very, very proud of that. Next. We'd also like to thank our speakers. More than 9 speakers have lent their talents and their expertise to the UPOU in various fields and topics. So we'd like to thank Mix Andrea Desoy, Gabriela Baron, Olivia Estrada, Raymond Tribdino, Mr. Ralph Rivas, Gerald De La Cruz, Stephen Busico, Dominic Flores, Elimar Apao. And we'd also like to thank the UP Solidaridad as well as the Philippine Collegian. Yeah. So we'd like to thank our speakers who have come from many very prestigious outlets. As Director Ria mentioned earlier, we have speakers who came from Inquirer, Malaya, Rappler, UJP, Diliman, UP Optics, UX Philippines. And so we have really received a broad range of support from many different organizations and publications. And we're also very proud to report that as part of the Media Lab, we were also members of the very first Philippine Fact-Checking Summit held at UST about 2 weeks ago. So this shows the efforts of the UST to continue to build the student publication, not just as another institution, but as an independent institution that stands for truth and power. Now, to explain more a bit about the selection board and the selection process, I'll turn it over to our project head, Madeleine.
Thank you so much, Chairperson Crisanto, for introducing the Digital Media Lab to our viewers here. So now I would like to introduce the selection board. So just to give a brief background on why we had the selection board. So one of the goals here in this digital media lab is to produce a provisional editorial board. So the provisional editorial board will act as the first members of the student publication to lay the groundwork for the establishing of the student publication. Since a brief background then, na we already had a student publication in UPOU, but unfortunately it was not followed through and therefore it became inactive. So now we want to re-establish the student publication here, and with the recognition of UP Solidaridad, be part of the Alliance of Student Publications here in UPOU. So now the selection board. The selection board's purpose here in the Digital Media Lab is to select among the fellows, among the participants of the Digital Media Lab, on who will be part of the provisional editorial board. So the members of the selection board, we have 5 members of the selection board. So we have 2 from UP Solidaridad. Okay, so first is Ms. Andrea Dasoy, one of our speakers as well. We also have another of our speaker, Sir Raymond Tribdino from Malaya, and 2 from UP Solidaridad. So we also have 1 faculty from UPOU, Sir Lian Angelico de Pante, and from UP Solidaridad, Sir Mark Famatigan and Ms. Marian De Jesus. So they are the members of the selection board who will be evaluating, deliberating on which of the fellows will be part of the provisional editorial board. So the selection process on who will be the next EIC managing editor. So the positions of the provisional editorial board are the editor-in-chief, the managing editor, the news editor, the AV director for audio and visual production, the creative director for photography and graphics, and the web and layout director. So these are the positions that we deem necessary for the foundation or for the establishing and building of the first UPOU student publication. So the selection process. So before that, I would like to talk about what the task of the provisional board will be. So like I mentioned, the provisional editorial board will be given a year to lay the foundation for the future of the UPOU student publication. And once they have finished their term, they have the choice to convert to the first editorial board or select new members to govern as the editorial board. So why is there a difference between like the first editorial board and the provisional editorial board? So before the UPOU USC was established, there was a provisional committee. So they were the ones who laid the groundwork, which is the UPOU Constitution. So we want that framework as well to be followed for the UPOU student publication so that all the necessary groundwork and foundation will be prepared for them. So it will be an easier process for them. So we want things to be a smooth process. We don't want any mistakes happening again and to delay the student publication and student representation here in UPOU. So next. Alright, so before I announce the provisional editorial board nominees, I would like to talk about the selection process. So in order to be qualified to be part of the nomination, the fellows of the Digital Media Lab must have attended all sessions, either synchronously or asynchronously, must have submitted all the outputs of all categories, namely news, feature, editorial, photojournalism, audio and video production, web and layout design. So among these fellows who have all been submitted the outputs and attended the session, they will be shortlisted and their outputs will be deliberated upon through a scoring method. So from the selection board, they will evaluate individually all the outputs and they will select who will be part of the provisional editorial board. So without further ado, are you all excited to learn about who are our provisional editorial board nominees? Yes?
Yes na yes! Syempre!
Sa tingin mo, Jet, andito ba sila ngayon?
I think Nandito na sila.
Nandito na
sila. Right here, right now, live na
Pero
live.
what about our live viewers? Sa tingin mo ba, andun din sila?
Siyempre, nasa computer screen sila o kaya nasa tablet or nasa phone. Nanonood sila live dito sa ating UPOU official page, di ba?
Yes. Yan ang tatak talaga ng isang OU student. Always available online at kung hindi makadalo,
Edi don't.
pwede doon. Huwag naman natin sila i-discriminate. That's our we are online natives.
Mga nakatira online. Pero pag nag-offline, di na makontak. Ganon.
Ganon? Ganon ka budget?
Ay, slight lang.
Slight lang. Ayan. So without further ado, we would like to present our nominees for the Provisional Editorial Board. Jet, take it away.
Okay, we have Sabrina Mendigoria. Let us all give her a round of applause. Up next, we have Janine Puda. We also have Evie Oxales.
We also have Faye Lopez. And we also have Elisa Dakuma. And Bea Lu Harabe. So these are all our nominees for the Provisional Editorial Board. So we would like to congratulate each and every one of them for accomplishing all the outputs, attending all the sessions, and being shortlisted to become a nominee for the Provisional Editorial Board. We are very proud of you.
And now I'll give the floor to Sir Crisanto Isaiah.
Yeah, and thank you. I just want to mention what an honor it is that we have this many nominees for our editorial board. Again, as I mentioned, we started with 100 students. In fact, it was actually more like 120. And these are the best of the best. They have gone through the rigorous process. They have survived 5 weeks of intensive workshops every weekend, diba? Maddie, that's like 2 to 3 hours every weekend. They have done the outputs. They have proven themselves worthy of consideration. Now it is up to our selection board, made up of a student, industry professional, 2 UP Solidaridad, and 1 UPOU faculty member to help decide who will be our editor-in-chief, our managing editor, and part of our provisional editorial board. So I would like to thank everyone for participating and helping us in the UPOU Digital Media Lab. And we also want to thank our partners, the UP Solidaridad, the Philippine Collegian. Without your help, none of this would be possible. I would like to share a small message, a short message, to our online viewers, to our fellow students, and to any of those who are aspiring to become student journalists. I posted this, I think, a few months ago to a year on my Facebook page. There are 2 things that you can do in a university to serve the students. If you want to be accountable to the people, I said run for the student council, run for elections. But if you want to hold those in power accountable, join the student publication. That is the role that our student publication has. And in today's world and in today's country, we increasingly need more and more students who will hold powerful people to account. That these people need to know that they will be held accountable and that the truth will always prevail. It's important for us in UPOU that we create a student publication that is not only as diverse or as interesting as the UPOU students, but one that is also global in nature. We are the only constituent university where we have students in more than 40 countries, where we have students all over the Philippines. Can you imagine the scope of a student publication like that? You can have reporters on the field in Mindanao, or even foreign correspondents in Dubai or Qatar. So this is the opportunity that is presented to us as UPOU students. Now, for those students who are watching us online, This is open for undergraduate, associates, masters, and PhD programs. We do not discriminate on any student. Any student can join the student publication. Simply, what we have done with the Digital Media Lab is we have helped find leaders. We are trying to help find those who are dedicated. Now, as the UPO USC, we are an independent institution. We can only go so far. Once the provisional board is set up, they will have complete autonomy, and they will have the freedom to choose how to run their systems, how to build their website, and even how to report the news. And if they criticize us, I welcome that. Because it's important for a true democracy to have checks and balances, and for people to have the freedom to ask questions, the freedom to criticize those in power, and to ask, why not? Now, for our students, please stay up to date. We know that we're very excited for our 6 nominees. Please keep posted on the UPOU USC's official pages. Once the selection board has finished their deliberations, we will be posting that to the public and having another event so that you can all have an opportunity to meet the new editorial board. In addition, the UPOU USC would also like to open that we are now opening applications for interested junior and senior students to help us build the yearbook committee. Now, we want to see junior and senior students because those are the ones who are either graduating or soon to graduate. I have asked previously the UPOU Library and the OSA whether or not there was such a thing going on if we had a yearbook, and they told me that there was not yet an initiative. And so several students have approached the USC asking if we can at least make a digital version. So this is something that the USC is responding to and also making available. So please check again later tonight, and we'll have an application form posted on our page. So with all of that, maraming salamat to all those who are with us today. And I bring it back to our lovely hosts, Maddie and Jed.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, for that wonderful and inspiring message, no? Parang nakakataba ng puso na para sa atin tong ginagawa natin to, para sa
Of course,
atin, di
everything
ba?
is always for the student
For
journey.
our bright future dito sa
Yes.
UPOU.
Ayan, sige. So now I will be giving my closing remarks as a project head. So, wala akong naisulat, unlike si Director Ria. But, so first of all, thank you sa ating mga participants. I really appreciate everybody for signing up and showing their enthusiasm. Truly, sorry naiyak ako.
Paawa effect yun.
Joke lang. Hindi yung joke lang na hindi ako iyak, pero baka umiyak. Anyways, ayun. First of all, again, I would like to congratulate our participants for being able to attend and participate in our Digital Media Lab. I know that it was a difficult program, especially because we had to have synchronous sessions na hindi usual for us OU students. But I believe na it was a learning experience for all of us, and that it was a good experience na we get to have a different kind of alternative learning experience, kumbaga, and in the topic of journalism. So for me, personally, the reason why we wanted to have this journalism workshop is because we don't have a student publication here in UPOU, and that's very sad because, as you can see in our participants, we have so many aspiring student journalists here, and in order to join a student publication, you have to look further. You have to look sa ibang campuses, to an independent news publication just to join, and that's very sad for us because having our own student publication is already an avenue for us to be informed and to inform in our own context. And having this program is really putting the seeds in to having that kind of representation na we don't just get our news in other student publications, we also have our own. We can take pride in our own student publication, in our own voices. So, OU Voices, ganon. So, I really look forward to hearing those voices, those student journalists to write and to hear what they have to say. And I know it's been tough, and we really didn't get to see the ideal digital media lab, but I'm sure in the future, the student publication, they may continue this kind of project since they will be the ones to have these kinds of initiatives for student journalism here in UPOU. And we look forward to the future provisional editorial board that maybe you can improve and you can do more to this digital media lab. So once again, congratulations to all our fellows. Thank you to UP Solidaridad, to Philippine Collegian, to the UPOU USC, to the Office of Student Affairs, and to UPOU itself for helping us make this program possible. So maraming salamat po, and let us continue to fight for truth and righteousness. Thank you.
Yan, thank you, Mati, for that heartful message. Parang ako ata yung naiiyak kahit siya yung madaming sinabi. Ba't
Siyempre,
ganun?
ako'y kailangan
Tagos sa
magsalita,
puso
ikaw ang
kasi,
tagaiyak.
di ba? Sabi nga nila, the truth hurts, and nasaktan ako doon. O, di ba? Kasi,
Saktan in a good way.
nasaktan in the best way.
Ah.
Di, kasi kailangan natin i-present yung sarili natin, OU. Kasi we have been discriminated all the time na parang, di, OU lang yan. Kaya wag na natin sila bigyan ng mga gantong privileges. Dapat pantay-pantay tayo dito. We are all
Yes.
fair and we stand inclusivity, di ba guys? Kailangan lahat included, hindi lahat excluded. O, di ba? Kaya itong ginagawa natin ito para sa atin to, para sa ating community, para magkaroon tayo ng magandang future, mapantayan or even ma-exceed natin ang mga expectations nila patungkol sa OU.
Yes, and since magiging unique din ang ating student publication, because as a digital and online university, our student publication will also be a digital, one of a kind dito sa UP.
O, di ba? Online na online. Wag na mawala ng internet. Ganon.
Wag naman sana.
Wag naman. O, sige. Ayan, as we welcome to the end of the program, we would like to thank and express our heartfelt gratitude to all the fellow speakers, selection board members, and everyone who has been part of the Digital Media Lab. Your contributions have made this workshop a resounding success.
So to end this program, let us sing our university hymn, UP Naming Mahal.